Hello, I'm Daniel Maslia, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Today I'm going to make a flan, which I've been making for many years, a recipe that has come to us from way back before the Spanish Inquisition when the Sephardics were making these. Now, there are people who think that there's a big difference between flan and creme brulee, and it is. The flan is usually made with sugar at the base of the pan, and it comes out caramelized, and it's the top. Whereas creme brulee, basically, it's the same recipe, other than instead of using whole milk, which I use in flan, they use evaporated milk. It's a lot stronger. And once the creme brulee is cooked, they spread sugar on top of it and take a torch and burn the sugar to caramelize it, and it's very hard. That's the difference between the two recipes. This is what it looks like after it's finished, and you'll be able to see when I make this that how we are able to flip it over and make it come out like it does. And I'm fortunate to have my grandson Joshua Whitehead, who is photographing this, and has been a big help in several other videos that I've made. A funny thing about this recipe was I had a grandmother, an aunt that lived in Cuba, and she gave me the recipe on how to make flan. And one of the things to do was to boil the milk and add the sugar and the rest of the ingredients. One day I was making it for her. We had our family over for Thanksgiving, and I forgot to boil the milk, and I threw the whole flan away and started all over again with whole milk. When she came over, I told her what happened. She started laughing. She said the only reason she boiled the milk when she made the flan was because she lived in Cuba and they didn't have pasteurized milk. I can't tell you how many times I threw away the flan because I didn't have whole milk. But it's been fun making this recipe that so many of our Sephardic friends have been eating for years and years. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is caramelize the sugar, which will be the top of the flan when it's done. We have 3/4 of a cup of sugar, which will caramelize. We turn the heat medium high, and then it will eventually melt the sugar and cause it to be caramelized. What I do is continue to stir it until it completely melts, and then you'll have this beautifully colored caramel that we're going to put into this bowl, which, as I said, will be the top of the flan after it's cooked. Now what we do after this, we're going to pour this into the bowl that's going to be the pan the bowl where we're going to put the flan in, and then we circle the bowl around so that when we finish making the flan and flip it over, we're going to have a beautiful top of a caramel filling that you'll see when we finish.
And are the sides to get a very even crust on the sides also?
Yeah, it's not always even, but after you pour it out and flip it over when it's done, you really can't tell the difference. You may see a little heavier sugar on caramel on one side, but it's really not going to make a difference. And that's what we'll do. So this will cool off, and then when we make the mixture, we'll pour it in here, as you'll see later on. Okay, now we're going to start to make the mixture. First, I start with 5 eggs that I'll mix very hard, very thoroughly. Now that I've got my eggs mixed, I'm going to put a pinch of salt. I never know how much a pinch is, but that looks like a pinch. Then we use vanilla flavor. We'll use 3 teaspoons of vanilla flavor, which is really important in this recipe. Then the sweet part comes in with 3/4 cup of sugar. And we mix this sugar in with the eggs and the vanilla. Okay, now that we've mixed the eggs and the sugar and the flavor, we're going to put the final ingredient, which is 2.5 cups of whole milk.
Do you want it to be that frothy?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's automatic. It comes that way. It'll settle down after a while. Okay, now we're going to pour the mixture into the bowl in which we're going to cook the flan in. We take the flan bowl, and I put water in this bigger bowl because we're going to cook the flan in a double boiler. The reason we use a double boiler is because we don't want the egg mix to burn in the heat, because when the water is boiling, the temperature in the never gets more than 212 degrees.
So it keeps it more constant.
Yeah, it keeps it constant.
Leads to.
It keeps the eggs from being scrambled.
Gotcha.
Burned.
And is the cracking normal when you poured it in there?
Yeah, it'll always crack once, because when the coolness hits the bottom of the pan where the caramelized sugar is, it'll crack.
It cracks it.
But when you flip it over after it's done, it just rolls over.
Mm-hmm. And do you use lukewarm water or room temperature?
Put room temperature.
Room temperature?
Once it gets into the oven, it'll get hot, but it won't go more than 212 degrees. Okay, now that I've got the temperature at 350 degrees, we're going to go ahead and put the flan in to cook, and it'll cook for 1 hour and 20 minutes.
And do you check if it's ready at the end, or you just know from experience that it's 120?
With this oven, I know in 1 hour and 20 minutes. In someone else's oven, it may take longer than that. So I set the timer for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Now we've taken the flan out of the oven, and there's still a lot of hot water. So rather than burning ourselves, we just take my little suction and suction all the water out so that we can remove the flan and then let it cool off. And then you put it in the refrigerator and let it sit there for at least 24 hours, because while it's sitting in the refrigerator, it will harden, and then you'll be able to flip it out, and then you're ready to serve. This is a flan that has been in the refrigerator for about a day and a half, and we're ready to flip it. The first thing you do is take a spatula and run it around the sides so that it'll come out easy. Just completely around.
Separate from the sides.
Separate it. And then we take the bowl we're going to put it in and flip it like this, and voila, we have this beautiful flan with the syrup dripping over it, and it is ready to eat. This really tastes good. The texture is good, and I think you will enjoy making it. And I think you're going to realize how easy it is to make this flan. So many people say it's so hard to make, but you never know how easy it is until you actually get in there and try to make it. And I want to thank my grandson Joshua Whitehead for doing such a good job of filming this video. Thank you for watching it.